Good morning, good afternoon and good evening from wherever you are in the world. This is the AMS2 Community Cup for season 2024 and let's do it one more time with a bang, shall we? Round 8 of the championship brings the iconic McLaren F1s to the equally iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit, with the drivers from the varying communities taking to the track for the first time. They had a dry practice session, but it's a wet qualifying session that we will be facing for the next 13.5 minutes. Who is going to get that provisional pole position, which could be all important, but could also be a big challenge for the drivers on this particular occasion, because those drivers are going to be the first to come across the inclement weather if it hits. Typical Eiffel weather in the Belgian hills, but that doesn't dampen the spirits of any of our drivers. Team play already taking effect for the Noobs Gamers drivers of Lag Slug, and who is it that's ahead of them there? It'll be Chris C. Nope. Nope. Yeah, I don't think that was the right car anyway. The auto director moving things around for me for no reason whatsoever. First lap out then for Johnny B. A bit of network lag, but he is clean out of turn 1. At La Source, down the hill, the Mercedes V12 screams. And again, network lag giving us all sorts of false positives on where that car is on the track. Let's see how, let's go to that view from Johnny B's perspective. On the brakes into Lacombe, keeps the rear end nice and neat and tidy, turns through the second left-hander on the exit, keeping it well within the white lines, well within track limits. The race directors did say to not be taking liberties with track limits through the course of this race. It's going to be a big old look, a big old swipe wide out of Speaker's Corner, but that's to be expected in these conditions. And again through Pool 1, just running the very edge of track limits for Johnny B. And it looks as though AMS2 1.6 is flexing its muscles tonight, with the rain much heavier on the lower part of the circuit. Not where the weather usually comes in from, but it is significantly heavier in the lower part of the circuit, in the valley, as it were. And Johnny B struggling a lot with netcode tonight. On the brakes into the bus stop chicane, the new revised bus stop chicane. Out onto the start-finish straight, and this is going to be the first of a banker laps. Johnny B goes fastest with a 2:13.086. But who else is able to compete? Rocco Damanoides with a beautiful lap up in the middle of traffic as well. So there could be quite a bit more speed to come out of that RPM car. Other names that are going quickly. Mattia more to you there. Has done a reasonably fast first sector. Looks as though they lost it in the second sector, and that is going to be a slow opening lap, but it will get a time on the board, and that's going to be critically important for this race. Fastest first sector for Chrissy H. At the moment, yeah, Chrissy H with a 34.560's got that RPM car dented at the front end, but clearly with some pace. Leave us a message in the YouTube chat. I do have the window open. If you are supporting or you're from one of the communities that are taking part, 11 communities taking part across 2 servers throughout the course of this season, and they've brought us some of the cleanest racing that I've ever seen in online sim racing. Just nail-biting from start to finish, with strategies once again going to be the name of the game. How is Chrissy H's lap coming together? He's 2 seconds faster than he was last time by. This is going to be a big improvement, but it's not going to be pole position at the moment. New fastest lap from Rocco Thamanoidis to 11.387. Unless this is a very, very quick lap from, or final sector from Chrissy H, he's not going to go to the top of the timing screens. But how far up can he get? 9th position for the Noobs Gamer car. And will get off the racing line. Go for another run. Johnny B is on a slow lap by the looks of things. Another car with some cosmetic yeah, don't scare me. I thought I had no audio there for a second. No car audio. The dynamic range on AMS2 is quite high, so the audio is not there and then is there. Dan Lewis for MVRC. There we go, yep. A man who has had lots of technical troubles over the course of this race, or over the course of this series. Has had to dip out of quite a few races through earthing issues, but is hoping, now that he's got the issues seemingly fixed, to try and have a go at the top of the timing screens once again. Dan Lewis once was one of the fastest drivers that we had in the 2023 edition of the AMS2 Community Cup. Good evening, Hellblazer. Good to see you in chat as well. But 19 drivers taking on the challenge tonight. Understandable, a slightly lower turnout than normal. We are getting to that dangerous part of year where the big C starts to come for everybody. Last minute present buying and the like has to take priorities over this whole sim racing lark. Rocco Thamanoidis with a 2:10 flat. That is astonishingly quick given the inclement conditions. It looks as though nobody else is... I have hydration, yes I do. I have 2 sets of hydration. I have caffeinated hydration, I have sugar hydration. Both will be lent on heavily here. I appreciate it, thank you. Improvement from J-turn. There was... Cephalor also is still out on a reasonably fast lap. He's coming up to the 2nd sector now. This could be a significant improvement for him. He's not far off the 2 minutes 10 as the rain looks like it's starting to ease off. Gets to the end of sector 2 as Linus Falamanto takes that 4th position. Off camera. Brilliant climb from the Belgian for 10 tenths. Cephalor coming into the final chicane. It looks as though there was the time from Mattia Morgante. Cephalor up to 3rd. It was a significant improvement. Not enough to get onto the 1st row of the grid. And immediately deposed by Johnny B for curb clippers. We're starting to get to the hotter end of qualifying now. As a fantastically big screen freeze. That's just the worst. I wish it was the whole PC that was locking up, because at least then it would make sense. Unless it's somebody joining really late, but this is frankly alarming. It's unlikely that it's server problems, but it wouldn't be surprising if it was. Cool. Perfect. That's just what we need. I don't even have a backup screen for when something like this happens. That is... I think technical issues on my side? Which is equally terrifying. Give me just a moment. I will just try and re-find this. Why are you being so trash? Oh, this could actually be a server issue. Pass. Don't have that information at the moment. Server 2's up. Okay. We do this the really old-fashioned way and just restart AMS2. Yay, technical troubles. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. There we go, you can hear me, cool. Yeah, I saw the feedback from OBS. I'm not posh. Just because I have some eloquence to me. What, would you like me to talk like a southern city boy? Would you prefer that? I can't even make that argument. Our internet is entirely bulletproof as far as that's concerned. It's just not. That's just not showing the server. Give me a moment. I will go and ask the people that know. That's the only way around this. Well, the server is still running. The end of the session has taken place. I have no idea what's caused this, other than it may be hiding the session from me because they're in qualifying, and obviously you don't want to have new cars joining in qualifying. But that also doesn't make sense because I can see the second server. So the race is scheduled to start at 1:15, which is just coming up now. As is tradition in the AMS2 Community Cup, the organisers will leave a couple of minutes for drivers to get themselves sorted and situated in their seats, bio breaks, drinks, things like that. But unfortunately, unless the server comes back up or decides to play nicely, there's not a lot we can really do. So normally we do have a lovely. Well, yeah. Apparently, I think ooh, it's a possibility that it may be working. We're going to have to be extremely quick with getting everything. Yeah, no, the black screen is on purpose, because obviously we have passwords and things like that I don't want to be broadcasted. We'll wait for the server to load in. And to be perfectly honest, I still don't know what caused that. That was terrifying. Okie dokie. So they are lined up on the start line. While not the ideal start to the race, it is about as terrible as the conditions are going to get. It's already, as you can see, a wet track. The track is soaked, according to the status indicator. Yeah, it's probably water in the electrics. Yeah, probably water in the electrics, knowing what Spa is like in the Eifel Mountains. The time is counting down. We have... There we go. Everybody has declared themselves as being ready. So it's a very quick countdown that we won't even hear. We are go for the final round of the AMS2 Community Cup. None of my overlays are working, but we don't need that. We've got 4 wide as they come into La Source, and wide the leaders go as well. Lots on the line for the communities here, but that is about 6 cars into one don't go. The pole sitter has been dropped to second at the moment, but has very much survived better than the majority of the rest of the drivers, and back up to the lead for second for Rocco Damanoidis. Johnny B for Curb Clippers getting up into 4th position, looking to get that position on the AMSU car. If Irwin has got the overlap, has got the position and the row position, and the position is his, going through Lecom for the first time. Couple of cars further back, just taking to the escape road. This is all fair at the moment. Lots of people scrabbling not only for grip, but also for track position, amongst 20 other cars are up and around the grid. Bonar, the car that has lost out most from that early schmozzle, with Jerry in the SRGP car struggling as well. Give me half a second. Let me see if I can get re-up these timing screens. Because I would really like to be able to see those. Actually, can you see that as well? No, you're not getting the information either. Cool. We're not going to have it because we are in spectator mode. Oh, no, maybe. No. That's really, really unfortunate. Right, but we'll get this working as best we can. We'll turn that off as well. We don't need you. We do need that. There we go. Right, as we were. So, with the timing screens, all of my timing screens lost, and none of the information that I'm going to need, let's commentate this the old-fashioned way. Johnny B leads the way for Curb Clippers with a 2-second gap back to Irwin for the MSU drivers. The highest position I've seen an AMSU car be outside of pit cycles in a long time. Rocco Thamanoidis is running in third with Dustin for SSR in fourth. Cephalor is running in fifth with Dan Lewis for the MVRC team in sixth. Seventh is Evil Noodle for NRT with Linus Falamento in eighth. J-Turn, the organiser and brainchild of this now 3 years, I believe, of Sim Racing Championship, in ninth position. Busata is running for the Italian RRC team in 10th. 11th for Risotto, 12th for Glenals. Carazada, whoa, was a big moment for J-Turn, is going to cause a little consternation on the exit of Speaker's Corner. And a few places lost, which promotes all of the drivers that we were just talking about now. Chrissy H to 13th, Lagsock to 14th. J-Turn demoted all the way to 15th and about third from last in the queue. Plenty of opportunity for him to use tyre and strategy advantage to regain some of those positions, but being further back in the field is going to cause some issues for him. Jerry for SRGP is running in 16th. 15th now as Carazada has an issue again, drops right to the back of the main pack with G-Bear just ahead now. Andy Bonar is running in 18th with Mattia Morganti after a fantastic start. Is demoted all the way to the back of the field in 19th and quite a way off the back of the field, as you can see from that map, hopefully. Where are the fights then? Rocco Thamanoidis potentially losing a position to KR Dustin here. The AMSU and RPM drivers going at it. Thamanoidis is able to fend off. It's Cephalor, not Dustin. Why was Dustin there? There we go. But now Cephalor with a poor drive off the Thamanoidis with a poor drive off of Radion will lose out to Cephalor from the SSR team. This is what happens when I don't have any of my broadcasting things. I can't see names and gaps and things. It's very annoying. Cephalor now back around the outside, potentially, of Irwin. There we go, for AMSU. Dustin has disappeared up the road in second position, hunting down the Curb Clippers driver of Johnny B. And now Irwin and Cephalor fighting tooth and nail through Puon, and it's going to be a big spin for Cephalor, and collected as well. Not a lot that could really be done there. Rocco's fallen back, taking that avoiding action. But I don't think is going to take much damage from that. The benefit being that there's so much going on in this race. There's plenty of opportunity and time for these positions to be regained. I don't know why it's trying to focus there, but you know, whatever. Rocco Thamanoidis, this side-by-side battle. Oh, it's being thrown off by the network issues. That's what's going on here. So, big three-way battle. Let's get the drivers involved. It's Linus Falamento, Rocco Thamanoidis, and Busata bringing up the rear at the moment. I've lost all of my... I've lost all of my lovely settings that I had, as Rocco runs wide and becomes the driver hunting the two ahead. Busata, having dispatched Rocco Thamanoidis in the RPM car, takes Linus Falamento. These inclement conditions coming to the RRC driver in a way that we haven't seen. Of course, Germans and Brits in the top 5, we're used to that torrential and mixed conditions, as it is going to get heavier as we go through the race and then clear up at the end. It's going to be a very strategy heavy race, this. Very difficult for the drivers to be picking and choosing when the conditions are going to be best. All the cars are going to be rubbering in and clearing the water in a way that none of these drivers will have seen before up until this point. Yep, Dustin's pulled off a blinder of a start at the head of the field. Looks as though he was one of the few drivers not involved in that collision at turn 1 and has absolutely capitalised on it. The track very much suiting that SSR car at the moment. As per usual, it's just outside of the top 5 that's giving us all of the best fighting at the moment. Busata, Linus Falamento, Risotto now. Risotto in the SRGP car is also closely paying attention to the back of the 10/10ths driver. Quick look up the inside into La Source. Nothing going to happen through there, not yet, but you could set up something on the exit. There's lots of tarmac on the exit there to be used. No flashing. Ultimate professionalism from all of these drivers. None of those silly, dirty tricks that we see from lesser competitions. What can Risotto do on the entrance to Le Com? Just having a little bit of a look to the inside, getting up in the mirrors of Falamento. This could bring Thamanoidis back into it, but he's going to fall into the clutches soon of Chris H. Chris H for Noobs Gamers makes the pass easy with Rocco struggling in these conditions. I wonder if he's running slicks on that car or something. Busata now. Oh, good grief. Busata now has taken Johnny B. Johnny B still having connection issues, teleporting quite a bit behind there. Oh, it looks as though Johnny B has had ghost contact with some of the drivers. He's going to get moving again, but that's a really difficult position for him to be in. Perhaps the best place for him to be now is in that 8th position in the middle of nowhere. Nonetheless, we are back with this fight now over the top, that 5th position, as they're looking 3 wide into the bus stop. All 3 of the drivers get it stopped and turned in nicely. Track starting to dry up now. If these drivers were running on slicks, this is when they would start working, but it's going to start punishing the wet tyres. Moves like this are going to be increasing the load on that front left tyre and causing lots of issues as far as tyre wear is concerned, and that could be the mistake that Falamento makes that gives Risotto another position for the SRGP team. Side by side they will attempt to go through Eau Rouge and Radion, but Falamento taking the more valiant course and living to fight another day against the SRGP car. Where are the other fights in this group? Dan Lewis is very much out on his own, just desperately trying to keep the car underneath him at this moment. Where are the fights still in this top fight? But also struggling. There's lots of damage going on for all of these drivers here. Jerry, Glenel's, G-Bear. Looks like G-Bear's actually doing okay. Oh no, it's Grandpa Bear. This is G-Bear that's got all of that damage on the front end. Glenel's is okay. Jerry is the car with a high level of damage there. Good grief, these three attached by a very short string. Dustin into the pits. Was not expecting a pit stop this early. And just to make things more complicated, the rain is starting to come back now. Those drivers who have started on wets will have not very much tread left, especially if you start making maneuvers like that, but that is for the time being. Risotto with the third position. Pit stop still yet to be served, but that's something that will be evident whether they have pulled the right strategy or not in time. Oh my goodness, as the two of the three drivers take the escape road, and it is Risotto after such a fantastic climb up the field that is going to lose out most. Linus Falamento for 10/10 kept it on the black stuff, still keeps it on the black stuff, just about. I believe those may be slick tyres underneath those cars, and they are slick tyres that are not working. Let's go on board with Busata. Let's see how much work is having to be put in. This is where the developments that Razor Studios put in will be paying dividends. You see that big slide understeer from where Busata's trying desperately to stay on the racing line. That's not where you want to be, not in the rain. The grip isn't on the racing line anymore. You want to have two wheels, preferably the loaded ones, off the racing line to give the car as much opportunity to whee as he goes wide. Yet there's definitely no rubber out there. Can say with confidence. But this is what wet weather and slick tyres looks like. I dare say that may be lost time. Well, it's not going to be lost time for those around. I don't think I saw anybody further down dropping into the pits. We've already lost a couple of drivers as well. We've seen that happen. Rocco Damanoidis will come across the line and take, I would suggest, Linus has gone around for another lap. That's brave. Let's see what the incumbent leader can do. Is Linus the only one of the only ones that was running on wet tyres? And has this strategy finally come good for the 10/10 driver? He definitely has more grip than everyone around him. This is the only useful view, unfortunately. Using the wet line, it could be that he's running out of wet tyre. It could also be just that the track is extremely wet and these are very, very old wet tyres. Just running a little bit off the rubbered in line. Still no turning though through Pouhon. ultimate bravery from Falamanto here. Whether he was running slicks, whether he was running wet tyres at the start, waiting for the rain to come, or not, it's almost coming good. He's really doing well. But that was a beautiful slide as well. Big old spray. But that's the difference between perhaps slicks or an old set of wets compared to a new set of wets. Johnny B just disappears past. At a rate of knots. And Dustin also is going to be in a position soon. So this could be into the pits for Falamanto. Perfect. Dustin, one of the earlier drivers to pit, he's got a lot of tread left on those tyres now. And all of the water on the track to keep the car cool, to keep the tyres cool as well. Johnny B with a terrifying amount of pace, having not made, I dare say, not made a pit stop as yet. If he does make a pit stop, this is going to drop him right the way back. But if he can keep the car in check, which he seems to be doing for the most part, if he can save that pit stop, he'll be pretty much he'll be a pit stop ahead. So it doesn't matter if he loses the 8-second delta that he has at the moment. That's going to be moot by the time we get to the potentially second round of pit stops. Big fight over 6th position. Another strategy call. J-Turns made a very early pit stop. Was hungry to get the new wet tyres on to have some of the grip, and not quite able to make the position at the moment. Cephalor tries to defend the outside. Oh my, how many games can you say that in a realistic fashion? But the corner comes back to J-Turn, and he's able to get that 5th position sealed up for the time being. But now he has to capitalise on the pace that he's got. Whee! As Cephalor has a fairly harmless slide out to the outside. What beautiful conditions these are. I am so jealous of all of these drivers being able to take this on in such classic machinery. See if the auto director wants to play the game properly. Nope, it just wants to look at the 4th driver all the time. That's fine. So we are down all of our tools tonight. It's no problem at all. Lag slug on the defense from Andy Bonar. Bonar has been closing up quite substantially through these pit stop cycles. A little bit of damage showing on the nose of that McLaren F1. Beautiful car control from all concerned though. And I dare say this is one of the closest battles we've got on track at the moment. It's all settled down very nicely. Johnny B leading with a 7-second gap at the moment. It is coming down to Dustin though for the SSR team. Erwin running in 3rd position still for the AMS2 team, with Rocco Tamanoidis in 4th. J-Turn a valiant 5th position, as we saw him take that from Cephalor with a slightly different strategy call. It looks like Karazada running in the background Carries out running in 7th. In 8th is Glenel's for Curb Clippers. Mattia Morgante is running in 9th. A really good climb from the back of the field for them. Busatas rounds out the top 10. Linus Falamento dropping all the way back to 11th position. Really unfortunate for Linus. That in-lap really not helping him at all. With Lagslug running for the 10/10 team in 12th. Andy Bonar, who we are watching, in 13th. Dan Lewis, a lowly 14th after a fairly problematic outing to come back to the AMS2 Community Cup. Chris H in 15th, with Risotto in 16th, and Evil Noodles in the pits. Doesn't appear to be moving, though, unfortunately. Dustin has closed up the gap to 3.5 seconds. They are both on the same straight now. The spray isn't hanging in the air as much as it used to. The track is soaked. It is heavy rain now. And this is a story of survival for the next 33 minutes. And who can keep their wet tyres in the window longest? With 33 minutes remaining. Oh, that is so on the edge for Dustin. I would love to know what wheel he's got, because I need that kind of feedback in my life. Just balancing on the absolute edge. We've got to do it again. I'm sorry. This is just... You aren't driving the car as much as you're hinting it at a direction that you want it to go, and just living with whatever it gives you back. Such a beautiful four-wheel slide through Pouon there. Down to the bottom of the track, just feeling, grasping for grip. That's an almighty slide down to the bottom of the racetrack now. Again, this is where all those haptics that we're so used to seeing on high-end rigs really come into their own. Just all those little bits of vibration and feedback that the average sim racer just doesn't have. Allowing these drivers to be just as instinctive as they are. Nail the throttle with the counter steer on. It's a petrol head's dream to be driving a car like this in conditions like this, and AMS2 absolutely giving us the very best way to do that. When it doesn't crash, of course. Almost feel bad for going away from that viewpoint now. That was absolutely gorgeous to see. We do have a couple of battles. Irwin for the AMSU team has done an absolutely fantastic job. Was running as high as second earlier on in the race, but now coming under pressure from the RPM driver Rocco Thamanoidis, who has been slowly creeping in to the back of the MSU car. But as soon as you get close, whatever aero there is just gets washed away. And you've got to live with the mechanical grip that you have left. What mechanical grip is what all of the drivers will be asking at this point. It is just, you'd be better off with a boat. Well, no, you'd definitely be better off with a hovercraft. That much is for sure. Not so much sure a boat. It's not quite that bad yet. But the pace, as you can see, has fallen right the way off. 7 seconds or so for all of the drivers. Dustin with a 2:13 had pulled a 2:13 out in the very early stages. Last lap a 2:28.3, so still slightly faster than the leader in the form of Johnny B, and Johnny B into the pits. That's the second time for asking. Or maybe that is the first for Johnny B, which, if he's managed to... No, that is the first for Johnny B. What am I on about? This is what happens when I don't have all the numbers that I normally have in front of me. And the fight that was over... Oh, it's Evil Noodle that's a lap down? Yeah. So Evil Noodle's lap down. There's the flashing that we were expecting at some point. Rocco just trying to put Erwin off. No ABS or traction control in these cars. It's all a bunch of futuristic mumbo jumbo at this point in time. McLaren F1 GTR gives you 2 options, power and brakes, and you figure out the rest for yourself. Bonar's into the pits as well. I wonder if this is the point at which the drivers have run their testing and seen that there is the possibility to get to the end in one way or another. I know that the race is due to stop before the end of the race, but we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. But it's now the job of all of the drivers to try their hardest, as Risotto, who was running so high up earlier on in the race, has just had a nightmare of the first half of the race. 1 minute 47 off. That will be because of a pit for damage. Where else? Everyone's fairly equally split by the looks of it. Yeah, everybody's just backed off a little bit. There's Rocco into the pits. Is the fourth place car. That promotes J-Turn to 3rd. And where's this going to drop the RPM driver back out onto the track? It could be in this gap here. Seventh place car is rolling, so he could be falling out into a very tidy group, or a very tidy gap, just behind 6th. But before that, the 8th place car of Linus Falamanto gets as far as the corner. There we go. So Rocco back out onto the track. fresh rubber applied to each corner. And now the difficult climb back up the timing screens to the very top is his new challenge. Looks as though this is the closest battle on track. Track map being exceedingly useful for when the all other tools fail you. It looks as though there's a lot of fighting going on for Morgante here as well. More or less constant opposite lock, or constant opposite steering, trying to keep the car on the straight and narrow, and oh my goodness, you can't see a thing through that smoke, through the water. Thank goodness the Razor devs have been sensible and elected to at least have the brake lights show through the water vapor, because yep, that's the kind of jump scare that you get in real world racing. Razor once again lifting the standard for sim racing realism, and that is 9th position for the RRC driver, demoting Lag Slug to the 10th position in the 10/10ths car. The two AMSU drivers are both in the pit lane, different spots, which means that they'll come out with plenty of space to each other. Not a problem anyway. Erwin is back out. But Erwin, unlike the pit stop that we saw recently, he's dropped himself back out into a bit of traffic here. Matteo Morgante is in a legitimate 7th position at the moment. Lag Slug also in that same fog, has got the tyres underneath him, has got the speed from the slightly longer exit of La Source to the pit exit, seals the deal very quickly, and then immediately has a massive twitch of oversteer because these conditions are wild and the rain appears to be stopping. We've had at least one part of the track is reported to be clear now. And once again, this will be the strategy call that we need to look at and think about, is when do you pit? Do you pit for the 20 minutes remaining? Will the tyres last in these drying conditions? That the track is, I think, wet enough that it should be okay. But you just can't tell. I think it's Karazada and J-Turn is the closest battle again. It is. J-Turn has been demoted back to 12th position, but has the MVRC car of Carazada just up the road, with the possibility of something to hunt in these changing conditions. Big old four-wheel slide there, just no grip. Chrissy H into the pits, will get another new set of boots thrown on that McLaren F1. No excessive G-forces going on through Eau Rouge and Radillon tonight. Far too much water on the ground for that. And these McLarens, as fast as they were in the day, or in their day, have nothing like the downforce numbers that we're used to now. That is Risotto behind. Also seeing a car slightly up ahead with the opportunity for a position if they're very careful. Kind of need to wait for the track to come back to all of these drivers. It's still showing up as soaked, so still a lot of water on the track for the drivers to have to compete with. And it looks as though a collision has taken out a couple of our drivers as well. So these wet conditions proving to be a massive challenge for the drivers here. And this was the opportunity that we were seeing. J-Turn's not going to fight it. And now Risotto can run off in search of Carazada, sorry. A full 11 seconds further up the road, but let's see what the SRGP car can do with the remaining time. It looks as though the track is now considered wet, so the drivers will start to go hunting for the wetter sections of track as the dry line starts to form. You can just see a dry line as they come down towards La Source. But no signs of the tyres getting anywhere close to being able to cope with the amount of standing water on the ground. Just maybe the drivers need to go hunting for some wet tarmac to keep those tyres cool when they can. The run up to Le Com is a really good place to look for it. There's also Bruxelles, which they're just coming up to now. Brilliant corner to take a middle line and just sweep up some of that cooling water on the outside, as Risotto does. Now into the pits for a number of the top drivers. The track has gone to damp. Is this where the crossover then? Unfortunately, the bottom of the track seems to be... There's patches of dry tarmac here. But there's also... The top half of the track is absolutely sodden It's going to be an ultimate bravery choice for those drivers if they switch over to slicks. Or are they taking one final set of wets to carry themselves to the end, knowing that they're going to be burning up the entire time, but they need... Oh, it's a big lock-up for Risotto. J-Turn's going to take the position back after all the praise that we just gave him. And a lock-up into the pits as well. J-Turn staying out. That's understandable. I think it's only going to be another lap or so before it starts to become usable, but there's just so much wet around the track at the moment that you can use to cool down those wet tyres. There's not much point in hitting the pits yet. J-Turn's not even looking for that wet tarmac yet. Clearly very happy on that rubber. Oh, as two drivers come together. It's Linus Falamento and Mattia Morgante. Whether that was just a convenience or whether it was a coming together, we will have to see. But as you can probably see, the timing screens have all gone silly. It looks as though Dustin has got one hell of a lead over the rest of the field, though. Yep, 27 seconds. It's been yet again another one of these occasions where one of the drivers provides an absolute masterclass in a specific discipline of car, and the rest of the drivers just have to live with second, third down. And here we go. Now the track is starting to come to those slick tyres. You can see the grooves underneath the AMS2 car of Erwin. But what is Pusata running ahead? Let's just have a quick look and see. Give us that sweet, sweet turn in. I believe Pusata was one of the ones that came into the pits, so that could well be slicks on the RRC car. It looks like it at the moment. So this is critical for the rest of the race to keep an eye on the fight between these two. I think Erwin doesn't have the pace anymore, but Pusata has to be so careful with where he's putting those slick tyres. A wheel in a puddle is going to cool them down so much if they are slicks. And you can see just how careful he's having to be. Erwin has a look to the outside of all places, trying to get the car stopped. I didn't see any tread on the leading edge of those tyres. But now they come to the climb up towards the start-finish straight once again. There's no more spray that the drivers have to worry about. Just the cars ahead and behind. They absolutely look like slicks to me. So looks as though The slicks haven't quite come into their window as yet. The wet tyres still have a reasonable, or they had a reasonable advantage. But that is changing lap by lap at the moment. Irwin is going to be... Oh, it's 9 minutes to run on those really soft compound tyres. That's super difficult, and Johnny B, after a valiant fight for the podium positions, was in the pits at the right time along with everybody else, but is not able to capitalise on the pace of that McLaren F1. Cephalor smells blood in the water. And he is pushing so hard to try and make that position. Bit of damage. Not sure. Yeah, bit of damage on that rear spoiler. Altering the aero balance. Johnny B goes defensive, gets on the brakes, but it's going to be very difficult to... Oh, he does get it stopped in time. That was a brilliant bit of braking there by Johnny B under pressure. Absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, further down the field, J-Turn and Mattia Morganti getting back into it with each other. Looks as though Mattia's taken the position away once again. But here is the fight of the race. I think two absolute professionals coming up towards Lecombe. Johnny B on the inside, Cephalor on the outside. Cephalor has the lead, but what can he do on the outside of Lecombe? Nothing is the answer as Johnny B goes through the apex with an insane amount of speed. Maybe the rear end damage on that spoiler is having a little bit of an impact on Cephalor's stability. There's clearly a lot of pace in the car, but just extracting it under the rear bumper of Johnny B now. Both are able to extract the pace from these drying conditions. Although it looks as though, for the most part, Johnny B does have Cephalor mostly covered. Back out onto the climb, up the hill. No more spray, not anymore. Oh, it was going to be a huge look. Massive look up the inside. I would be surprised if that would be allowed to stick. Yeah. I think that was a missed braking point rather than a purposeful dive. But Curb Clippers will retain that second position then. RPM cars running line astern, a lap apart. That's the Noobs Gamers car. Rocco running, I think, the same livery. Either that or they are exceedingly similar. Yep. But lovely to see these liveries being turned out every time we come to a different race and a different class, and the communities absolutely pull the very best liveries. out of their design houses. The AMS2 and curb clippers combinations have been absolutely stunning, and once again proving to be the case on this McLaren. The SSR and SRGP cars likewise absolutely beautifully matched by the communities. 4 minutes remaining, a couple of laps if that. How is Dustin doing on the lap times? 2:10, so it will be 2 more laps. Then with a 26-second delta, you can't really make it 1 more lap to go, unfortunately. There is just not quite enough pace there, enough space for them to for Dustin to slow down. But what a masterclass it's been. Dustin avoiding the carnage at turn 1 in the darkness. Mastered the wet, nailed the pit stops, has had 0 issues from the outside, and is going to be repaid perhaps with an overall victory in the final round of 2024. There's of course the finish on a high social race that happens after the Christmas period. But what a way to finish out 2024. The rest of the field will stand in respect of the SSR driver, who prides themselves on their F1 and Formula Car prowess. That hasn't been the case. That isn't what we're driving tonight. These are big, hulking, old GT cars, H-pattern shifters, no traction control. Beautiful slide on the transition at the bus stop to prove the point. Final lap of the season then for the AMS2 Community Cup and the SSR driver Dustin. Further back down the field, the Morgante and Busata for RRC are going to come home. Linus Stern in just a lap's time. I believe all of the other fights are, I'm just going to double check, 2nd and 3rd is the next closest thing to RRC cars, but even that is separated by 3 seconds. It's going to be a sundown finish with the lights ablaze for Dustin then. One of the longer laps as well in sim racing is Spa-Francorchamps. Let's drink it in for one last time. We will of course be back here in 2025 doing exactly the same thing again. Hopefully with even more communities and more stories to tell. But it's been an up and down season for everybody. There have been the highest of ups with several victories for SSR this season. There have been several lows with some really, really sorry results. But today is not one of those days. Dustin will take the win for the final round here at the AMS2 Community Cup, and has done it in astonishing style. 25 seconds the lead by the time they got to the checkered flag. Johnny B is going to hold on to that second position to make it a Curb Clippers second. How many times have we heard that? So many times, the bridesmaid this season. But consistency has been king for Curb Clippers. SSR once again round out the podium. Open wheel specialists, they say. I think they can add another category of car to that speciality now. 2 cars on the podium. Rocco Tamanoidis will come home in 4th position for the RPM team. AMSU will claim 5th position with Irwin, with Matteo Morgante for RRC. The Italians in 7th, sorry. J-Turn will bring the other AMSU car home in 8th position, just missing out for them. Linus Falamento is 9th. Like Slug for 10 tenths will round out the top 10. Karazada will finish 11th in the end. All of the Brits round out the top 15 in the end. Andy Bonar, Glenn Ells, Chris H and Evil Noodle will round out the top 15 finishers. Like Slug, one of the last to finish, with Karazada coming around in a lonely 11th position. The man of the evening, though, the SSR team, Semi-Slick Racing, absolutely doing the business today. Not the fastest lap of the race. That honour will go to Rocco Tamanoidis with a 2:08.124, but it wasn't enough to take the victory overall. Irwin with a single pit stop as well through all of that, as well as J-Turn. A single stop is extremely brave, but the man of the hour gets to be the first into the comm box. Dustin, that was a demonstration.
Yeah, I had fun.
Is that what you call it? We watched you several times. I don't think you had the car at what we would call a neutral driving position at any point in that race.
Once actually, because I missed a shift, but no.
What a race, though. You say you have fun. How much of a challenge is it with these new 1.6 physics, with the new rain physics, with all of the developments the Razor have put into this 1.6 update? Just how difficult is it to adjust to the new norm as far as wet conditions are concerned?
For me personally, it's not so difficult at all because, like I explained last time around, that I have a lot of experience in the rain, and that this is my type of weather, and yeah, so I knew this would be my chance for a race, and I also knew to start on soft tires.
Yep.
Where many of us started on wets, and after one lap, I was faster than the wet drivers. So yeah, because I knew that I would not spin out under wet conditions with dry tires. Yeah. Because I'm used to driving dry tires in the wet. So that was key today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where that came from, was that because there wasn't really much of a gap that came once the conditions got really, really wet. It was just a case of that strategic call at the very start. And that turn 1 incident as well, I believe it was all very difficult because obviously I was having technical issues at the time. I believe you were the only driver to not be involved in that 4 or 5 car clattering across the track that we saw.
Yes, definitely. I had some small bumps from behind, but they didn't really matter. I thought I was braking very early, and then I saw everyone going straight, so I knew, okay, good. This is my corner now, and I was totally surprised to go from P9 to P1 in one corner.
I thought so. Yeah, what that was, well, accept the gifts that come to you. You had to be in the right position at the right time to make the most of it. But again, an absolute masterclass. Without that incident, I dare say that it would have been a slightly more interesting race, but a fairly similar outcome.
It would have been more difficult for sure, but I was faster after the second lap on dry tires, so I think I still could have get most of them, if not all.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic victory for SSR as well, with Cephalor taking that third position. That's lots and lots of points for yourselves. Hopefully that'll do your championship some good. I know that Jay is probably in the background doing all of the paperwork to get as frantically as he possibly can. But obviously, we'll keep attention to the Discord and make sure that we get those details published at some point as far as the outcome of the championships are concerned. For now, I think it's fair to say you've done absolutely everything that you possibly could tonight, Dustin. Congratulations on that win, and God, I hope we get to do all this again next year.
Yeah, I hope too. I'm ready for it. Or we are ready.
Fantastic. More wet weather to come then. I think it's fair to say. Beautiful. Thank you very much, Dustin. Congratulations on that win, and I look forward to seeing your return next year.
See you then.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate.
And thank you.
Thank you. Next, into the com box, I'm just going to invite people to speak. It's the man that was so fast for so long and had the worst connection this evening. Johnny, how was that from your angle? Because I don't think that we had a single lap where you weren't running wide or having some weird car positioning.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on, but it might just be my absolutely atrocious internet, which bizarrely used to get on with the old netcode really well. Just doesn't enjoy this one, to the point that, obviously it was slightly interesting that every sim I'd done was suggesting that like maybe by lap 3 the dry tyres would be starting to look a little bit more balanced, the wet tyres, and then maybe by lap 5 they'd be gaining. So obviously by the time it got to lap 1 and it was bone dry, it was eye-opening, should we say.
Yeah, of course.
And then came into Piff Paff and managed to get taken out by a car on both sides of me. And to clarify that point, it was the same car on both sides of me. So yes, not agreeing with the current netcode.
No. In fairness, it could be worse.
Well, exactly. At least I didn't ruin anyone's race as far as I'm aware. No one really ruined my race. So it has allowed us all to get to the end. And clearly something is going on in my area.
Yes.
But all in all, a reasonable race. Certainly towards the end, I had completely lost my nerve and was thinking about the championship and just holding on. And so Cal4 was all over me. And in a way, it was actually pretty thankful. I think he accidentally broke slightly on the wet line and sent it quite hard into the bus stop, which he then graciously backed off from.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I think probably actually saved my race. So
I was
funny how these things work out.
Yeah, I think I said at the time, I don't think that was a send. I think that was a mistake. Because it was very obvious we were actually on board with him at the time. That's the worst part. At the time, it was like, that car's not stopping. I know that car's not stopping. That's never going to stop. So it's just really unfortunate. Obviously, you have to turn in at some point. And I think that's...
But to be honest, he was so far behind, I wasn't even checking my mirrors. So completely blindsided by that one. But luckily it didn't turn out too badly.
No. It's the lowest speed part of the circuit. Really, is even La Source has a slightly higher speed than there. So.
Well, exactly.
But focusing on the championship, Curb Clippers, I literally said it as the race was ending. Kings of consistency at this point, as far as AMS2 Community Cup is concerned. I believe your last I looked was second or so. That's again as a.
Well, I'm getting some interesting chat. In fact, I need to find out where JK was.
Yeah. Pass.
But
we'll not speculate too much.
Blankfile came third, so we need to find out where the other two SSR drivers came from.
Yep.
Because I think we're a 2, a 3, and a 10. So a 1, a 3. And it could be.
It's going to be very close.
Very close.
It's going to be very close. Well, what we'll have to do is we'll have to implore Jay. As you can come and talk.
JK was a minute ahead of everyone, so congratulations on JK for his championship.
Nice. Good evening, Jay. I didn't mean to put you under pressure like that, but
No. I'd literally just got the results sorted as I heard my name mentioned. So, but just before I say those results, like I said, we've got Caflaw is in the audience here. I don't know whether he can hear me or not. I'm hoping he can. I had contact with Caflaw, and I wasn't sure if he wanted to place back or not because I made my way through after a little tap, but I did have the better grip at the time. So apologies, Caflaw, I've sent you a DM for that. But yes, the results. JK won in the other server. He won quite comfortably, so he has won overall. Dustin, at the moment, I haven't been able to triple check the results, but Dustin seems to have managed to sneak in to second place, which puts you third overall, Johnny, I'm afraid, at the moment. But I haven't checked the results. I'm just going by what the computer's telling me at the moment.
There we go. Congratulations, Dustin, too, then.
Absolutely fantastic. But again, I think we should convince Jay to do another stream once we've got all of the finalised positions and everything's closed up and sealed, so we can celebrate together.
We can definitely do that. Yeah, no worries.
That'd be very fun.
If it's all right, I want to say massive thank you. I'm going to run away to Metz's stream and just give them the information as well. But a massive thank you to you, Eike, and to all the racers. It's been an incredibly challenging final race. There was a bit of a kerfuffle on that opening lap as a lot of drivers misjudged the braking points and stuff like that. Dustin benefited from that. Well done, Dustin. But very tricky considering the conditions. I think it was a pretty good race, and the whole championship, I have to say, has been pretty exemplary. The odd mistake from people, but on the whole, given the number of people on track, really, really good. And of course, Ike, a massive thank you to you for all your work with the streaming. Cheers, man.
It's my pleasure, genuinely. I love seeing people who are ambitious like this, and you have always been generous and gracious, and just an absolute pleasure to deal with. So it's always a lovely time anytime we get to spend time together.
No worries, man. I'm going to run away quickly and rather rudely, but cheers, man. I'll go and speak to Metz and let him know what the standings are. Cheers.
Yep, that's perfect. And we get to carry on talking between myself and Johnny then. So, second in the championship. No, third in the championship for yourself.
By the sounds of things.
Yep, no, I'm. Yeah, that's how hectic this race has been. So third in the championship of all of the drivers that have entered across 2 servers, third overall is not bad. I think it's fair to say.
Yes, especially since having not really realised I was competitive, I was messing about and taking the worst cars and doing these sorts of things and letting teammates back through. So, all in all, I probably if I'd taken it a bit more seriously, it would have been a bit closer, but it's all in the name of good fun.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's a community cup. It's not a... it's the team. It's the teams that matter more than anything else. It's like in F1 where the World Drivers' Championship doesn't quite matter as much as the Constructors' Championship unless you're Red Bull.
Well, yes, you suspect if they'd won the other way around, then they'd be saying something different. But yes, I think it might be a lot closer than we'd want there as well. So we need to find out where these
100%.
The SSR drivers finished in server 2.
Yeah, 100%. I'll let you get going though.
Results are up.
Oh, are they?
Let's have a quick look.
That's terrifying.
I see the highest SSR driver in 15th, which I hope means that we've kept hold of it.
Yeah. Let's
just double checking I can actually see. Not obviously not, but yes, hopefully we've won the constructors, or the teams.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
We will see. We'll absolutely see. Well, as I said,
cheers, Ike. I'll catch you around.
You're all good. You're all good. You have a lovely rest of your evening. Hopefully, we'll get Jay to live stream the unveiling of the results officially, and we can all celebrate there.
Yeah,
decent
good times. See you later.
Lovely. Have a good one. Last into the combox, unless Mr. Rocco Thamanoidis, my good friend, wants to speak to us after that. Keflor, I have been pronouncing your name wrong all season. I'm very sorry. No one told me.
I'm actually not even sure how to pronounce it myself.
Perfect. That makes me feel a bit better. Anyway, it was a dominant display from your teammate. It was a challenging race for literally everybody else. From your cockpit, which I must admit we shared your cockpit for a couple of laps through the course of that race. How was it for you?
Yeah, I had 2 spins, so I lost a lot of time there. So probably, yeah, I could have easily second if I didn't spin 2 times.
Yeah, the thing is that with races like this, there is no well, there's always coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Unfortunately,
yeah,
what happens, and it's all about recovering and driving the best race that you can. I'm sure there are other drivers who would have bitten their hand off for the opportunity to only spin twice. But again, just talk us through just how difficult these conditions are if your name isn't Dustin.
I started as well on slicks as Dustin did, and once the rain started, it all of a sudden I lost the rear, so it can get extremely slippery in a very short amount of time. And then I switched to the wet tires, and the first couple of laps I thought, what is going on? Is my car broken? I literally had no grip on the rear, or I thought so, but then I compared it to the other times, and I saw that my lap times are actually okay. So, yeah, it's very slippery once it's really wet.
Yeah, in fairness, I think the weather went from damp to flooded in just under 10 minutes. So the track progression was extremely variable today. As I say, it was a very, very difficult situation to be in. You have a little bit of my jealousy, but none of my envy. I would have loved to have been out there with you all today, because like Dustin, rain is kind of where I'm best. Finding that limit of grip and sitting right on it all the time is the thing I find the most fun. But for the mortals among us, very, very difficult circumstances, and then it dried up all of a sudden, and you were out on the wrong compound, I assume, then?
No, I pitted for slicks again, and
okay.
It was actually okay.
And the wet weather, because it did always look wet until the end of the race. The wet sections of the track still causing issues, or were you able to get enough heat into the tires to make them work?
No, once they are warm and cozy, they are really grippy and have enough grip, even if you're going through a wet patch. So
excellent.
It was not really an issue.
So Razor, once again, doing a really good job. and taking the simulation forward yet again with both realism and enjoyment, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I really like 1.6. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, it will continue.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll see you back at least next year, if not before. It's been fantastic to have you. It's been fantastic to have SSR as well. The liveries that you guys have had over the season have been absolutely beautiful. And I have fingers crossed for yourselves in both the championships that obviously are going on. I'll let you get off now. We have
Bye.
Mr. Rocco Thamanoidis to join us as a last interview, I think.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Rocco. How was that for yourself? Difficult race, eh?
Yeah, what a strategic challenge in Christmas weather, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, very much British Christmas weather as well.
Yeah, so I'm speaking in behalf of RPM, so we chose that combo. Hope you enjoyed it and gave that extra challenge to the end of the Community Cup. And what a race. And yeah, we like to give the McLaren GTR a display, as it wasn't bit underwhelming in 1.5, so now in 1.6 it's quite usable, and we made good use of it, I think.
Yes, that would be. I would be. Where's your livery gone? Oh, there we go. I was blind, that's why. Yes, talk us through what's changed for the McLaren specifically. Then, for those drivers out there who are reading or are watching this and thinking, oh, maybe I should jump into AMS2. I really like the McLaren in real life. What's changed? What's different about it now that 1.5 didn't bring?
Well, maybe short words about the class. So the GTR was a bit of the underdog in the class of the GT1s, and now it is usable finally with BOP and everything.
Oh, I see.
It always had a great sound, and now it's drivable. So that's why we want to use it. And also not take the full class because of differences in cars. So we chose the single McLaren for everybody.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Absolutely makes total sense. Makes life a bit easier for the livery makers as well. I've just seen on your livery it says powered by BMW. That's beautiful as well. But again, fantastic choice of car and track combination. Really enjoyed watching it. As I've said, as you've probably heard me say a few times, extremely jealous of all of you being able to take part. Wish I had been able to be on the track with you as well. But maybe next year. We've got.
Yeah, I hope so. And strategy-wise, to leave a few words about this, there were several ways of doing a good race under that conditions. And for me, compared to a practice race, it was just not wet enough in the beginning. So I started on wets in difference to the other guys. And it just never got wet enough in the beginning. So I lost a lot there. Yeah. Not too much. And yeah, so the strategy was to save fuel, make a late pit stop for fuel only, leave the wet tires on. And then for the last 15 minutes, get the dry tires on and make my high-speed strategy come to life again.
Yeah, of course.
It almost worked, but just not long enough.
Yeah. It's timing is so important in racing in generally, isn't it? And with these variable races, how long it takes for the track to dry up and wet up and to come to the conditions that you want. It's all so much of a lottery. But that's why we love it, really, isn't it?
It is. And I was curious how every team is setting up their strategies and what would be the end result. And it was really nice to see everybody. Also, a lot of drivers finished the race, which is also nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you know both of the AMSU drivers only did one stop?
Yeah, I see the Irvin.
That was crazy. I because obviously with the connection issues that I had, I didn't have any of my tools, so I didn't know how many stops had taken place. I didn't know who was where. Got to the end screen, it's like, oh my goodness, neither of the AMS2 cars actually picked up a second pit stop, which I thought everybody was going to. Nonetheless, it was a beautiful way to finish out the championship. Really unique set of circumstances. Thank you very much. Please pass on our regards to RPM as well for selecting this really exciting combination. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see you again soon, Rocco.
Yeah, thank you very much. Congrats to Dustin for the win tonight. Also, Blankfire on the other server, I guess. Mm-hmm. And to everybody involved in doing this championship happen year over year.
Yep, absolutely. It's always fun. It's always fantastic fun. But I will let you get off now, Rocco. Thank you very much for your time and your effort throughout this season, and again to RPM as well for all their hard work as well.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Rocco. And Mr. Turn, you are back with us.
I am. I finished over with Metz. He's finished his stream, and I saw you were still online. And yeah, I just heard you mention that AMSU did a single stopper. Yeah, we did. It was our cunning strategy. I didn't have the skill to make it work. We were out on slicks after our one stop at the end of lap 14. If you massively fuel saved, you could get to lap 50. But lap 14 in full rain, 2 laps of in terrible conditions. The idea was if we could minimise losses in those 2 laps, then it would be okay. Erwin, he's much more skillful a driver than I am. He did a better job of it, and he got a good finish. But yeah, I was kind of like waving drivers through because you're on wets and I can hardly stay on track. I don't want to take you off. There's no point in me trying to defend. I am 15 seconds a lap slower, sort of thing. So,
yeah, of course.
So yeah, but yeah. Go on, I'll let you go.
No, I was literally about to lead you on to the rest of your race and how that went.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but man, it's so difficult. So, hard work, stressful. When the tyres were in the mood to, I had the right tyres for the weather. It felt good. At the end there, I nearly managed to sneak up on an RRC driver, Mr. Bisato, I think. Mm-hmm. I think there was a bit of team orders because he was about 15 or 10 seconds down the road, and I got overtaken by another RRC driver. And then all of a sudden, they'd swapped positions, and this Mr. Bisato was only 5 seconds ahead. And in that last lap, I nearly caught him. So I don't know if he was on wets or what was going on, or whether it was fuel saving. Maybe he nearly ran out, but I nearly caught him. There was only about half a second at the end. But yeah, overall good. But yeah, I struggled with the wrong tyres at the wrong time, and didn't have the skill to make it work or to minimise losses, and then capitalise by saving about 25 seconds by not pitting twice.
Oh, believe me, I feel that pain.
You think you've got a cunning strategy, and it doesn't and you just don't quite have the skill to make it work. So yeah, I think on server 1, Franco, an AMSU driver, I think he did that strategy, but he managed to fuel save and go an extra lap, which meant that when he came out, he only had 1 lap of slicks in terrible conditions. So I think, and he came P2, I think. So he did manage to make it work very well.
Yeah, there's so much strategy and so much thought that has to go into it, and you have to be so flexible with races like this. Again, it makes you just want to go racing in real life, doesn't it? So
it does, definitely,
maybe ever so slightly less complicated.
Yes, yeah. Maybe we'd just stay in the pit lane if I saw weather like that. But that's good. I don't want to wreck the car.
No. I go out there and full send. I once got. I once went in entered an endurance karting race. It was tipping it down with rain, and I got black and white flagged because I was drifting out of every corner. They black and white flagged me, pulled me into the pits and said, "Look, we don't think you're driving beyond your ability, but you're scaring the other drivers. Can you stop, please?"
Yeah, stop doing it so well.
Right?
yeah.
But it's the spice of life, isn't it?
It definitely is. It has been an absolutely cracking championship. I am going to run away and go and get the team scoring done. I can confirm, I think, reliably that KCSR have won overall the team championship and JK has won overall the drivers championship, with Dustin in second in the drivers championship and Johnny in third. That's how I think that pans out. I think those results are accurate. The team championship, pretty sure KCSR held on because they had good finishes today. I think SSR have held on to second as well. The third, I don't know, because JK did very well, so I think MVRC might have snuck ahead of AMSU. We'll have to wait and see when I total up the team scores in the next 20 minutes or so.
Is that Curb Clipper's second or third championship then?
Overall, that's their third championship, so they've won it 3 years in a row. So, but it was close with SSR. Certainly, if Curb Clippers hadn't had a decent finish tonight, then the championship. That's what was great into this last race. Is the drivers' championship was open. It was at least a 4-horse race. I mean, yes, there was an odds-on favourite with JK, but if given the event that we had, anything could have happened. JK could have, exactly. JK could have had a terrible start or something. Anyway, and same for the team championship. It was a 2-horse race for the lead, but a 4-horse race for who would get P3. So yeah, it's been good. But I say I'm going to run away and do the scoring and leave you solo to finish off the stream. But again, quick thank you to you again, Eike, everybody that's taken part. Thank you in any way what you've done. The Skinners, Loz particularly. Loz hasn't done much racing, but in the background, he's been doing the stewards' decisions when we've had appeals due to incidents and things like that. He's been putting the skin packs together. He has been creating the skins for the independent drivers and doing the AMSU skins. So, and he's done the races that he wanted to, but not that many races. But Loz has been a massive help. And I'm sure I've missed people, but the other main man that's been helping me is Roy, because he's been my co-admin, as it were, to help winning the event. So he's been a massive help. And their combo tonight was spot on. But I'll stop talking and I'll run away. Cheers, Eike. Have a good evening, everybody. I'll leave you to finish the stream. Good night.
There we go. Good night, Jay. Thank you very much. And with Jay departing quite understandably to go and crunch some numbers, I'm going to give both my voice and my brain a rest. And hopefully this isn't the last time that you hear my voice on this stream. Either way, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much to all of the drivers, all of the staff, all of the members that have looked after and made this championship just as exciting as it has been. Hopefully, we'll see you all in 2025. But if not, it's been fantastic to be here once again. Remember to be kind to everyone, be excellent to everyone else. And until next time, goodbye.